Alright, got my parts today. So before I get all covered in oil, I'm going to give kind of a little run through of what I'm going to do. And then I'll bring you back as I'm getting into it and show you a little update. So what we got going on, try to get this where I can get a good view, is I'm going to pull that housing off. I just have it kind of set in there right now. I don't have the bolts in it. Pull it off, turn it sideways, and poke it out the side window where the lift cover, or where the little selector lever goes. Now I'm going to take that shaft that I had the machine shop work on, and I'm going to install it along with the new spring and the detent ball. And hopefully that doesn't fight me too bad. Shouldn't be too hard to get done. Set this back up maybe. One thing you want to watch though is you don't want to lose the detent ball in the back of the transmission, because when you have that little housing out, around the bearing is open into the transmission. So something you gotta kind of be careful of. And all my parts stacked up here. Keep them from sliding off the hood. Nope, there they go. Just throw them all down there. So, new spring, new ball. Let's see here. Probably best if you get a little bit of grease to help you kind of hold all that together. What I want to show you is when you remove that housing, the end of the shaft in the transmission kind of drops down. Take this bad boy out for a second. Only goes one way, so you can't really screw that up. Grab my screwdriver. Like I said in that earlier video, I kind of just run it into the back of that shaft carefully, because you don't want to mess up the seal. And I'll lift that shaft a little bit with the screwdriver, and that housing slides right off. You could also probably drop a string down around the shaft and lift it up if that's easier for you. Okay, so now we got the housing poking out the side of the transmission, or out of the side of the housing here. And again, this is the old spring versus the new spring, so you can see the difference there. This spring is pretty stout. This spring has a little bit of wear on her from the last, I don't know, 60 plus years of being in service. So hopefully all this takes is the new spring. I did have the shaft worked on a little bit. The spring drops right through the hole in that housing I've shown you before, but that hole right there, the spring will just fall down through it. Now, moment of truth. How hard is this going to be to do? I have the old ball bearing. I'm not going to reuse it at this time, but I will keep it in the toolbox along with a couple of these little washers that I was potentially going to use to put some more preload on it. After looking at the new setup, I don't think that's going to be necessary. Getting this spring in is going to be a challenge. That's kind of why I wanted to video this part and see how far we get. Goes in over the spring okay. Now we will drop the ball on, and where did my screwdriver go? There it is. We will see if I can shove it down far enough to get that shaft to start. If I can, money, we're in business. If I can't, I'll have to figure out another plan of attack. Again, like I said, you don't want to drop the ball bearing down into the transmission, because then you got to go fishing. Okay. Need to get some of those glasses or strap my GoPro on my head and get some better shots of this. But oh shit. Just like that. Knocked it out of the housing. And it rolls right to the front because there's a little low spot in the case. So if you do drop it, I mean, at least you know where it's going to go. That's what happens sometimes. I did use this magnet to kind of help pull some of the iron filings and stuff out of this housing when I was cleaning it up. So if you have a good one, it's pretty handy for that. This thing wants to stick to every damn thing instead of what you want it to, so. Ball bearing got. Try this again. You want to make sure it stays pretty clean. You don't want a bunch of trash on it. I'm going to give her about one more go. If it doesn't stay where I want it to, I'm getting the grease. Handy little dipstick to help get the ball where you want it. Actually works pretty good, better than a screwdriver. It's just the right length. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty stout. Having a screwdriver that's about the same size as your hole would be a good idea. I don't have that on me at the moment, so we're gonna try it this way. Shaft is started onto the ball. I'll come in this way. Oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. Yeah. There we go. That was easier than I thought. Okay, so there we go. Shaft is started. It's in the first groove. Now it's in the second groove. And that's definitely tighter than what it was before. Okay, so now you gotta get your shims. These bad boys. And make sure they're clean. I've already been through these, kind of wiping them off shim to shim. And always try to protect your really, really thin shim in the middle of your stack. You don't want it on the outside edge. And I will put those back on the housing, and then I will slip it into place using the little screwdriver trick I was telling you. I'm just going to let that video run. I was going to cut it down and try and make it easier to watch, but we're just going to let it run. Because I feel like you missed some of that with all this edited crap on YouTube. Everybody makes everything look like it's a 5-minute job. And sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it just kicks your absolute ass. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just gonna soldier through. You want to make sure the housing is clean. You don't have any crap on the face of it, because this is actually what sets preload on that bearing in the transmission. So whoever back in the day set that shim stack up, I'm going to assume they knew what they were doing. And we're putting it right back together the way it was. Spun around. Getting it through the window can be kind of a challenge. May have to shove it past the sections of like where it rides on the adjuster. Come on, baby. There she is. Okay. Back in the housing. Now, just gotta get your holes lined up. Looks like we're good there. Screwdriver trick. The reason you use the screwdriver is so you don't risk tearing up that seal. And it's kind of a challenge. You gotta kind of lift and slide this thing forward all in the same kind of motion. That's why if you're struggling with it, the string idea may help you. I did it last night as a test and got it to work. And now that I'm videoing it, I probably won't be able to get it to work, but we're gonna see. Close. What hangs you up, I'll show you real quick, is that little shoulder right down there at the bottom. Right down there. That little shoulder right there on the housing is what binds you up. So you got to get the shaft lifted up high enough to clear that. And then it slides right in there like it's made for it. Reach through the little side window, make sure you're on the shaft. I am. And then go for it. Made it. You just kind of wiggle it into place. Now you gotta get a couple bolts in. And that's the other fun part on this thing. I'm gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite on these bolts. They're just a standard 3/8 bolt. So torque on those is can't remember out of the book, like 45 foot-pounds, something like that. But I'm just gonna put them in with some Loctite and put them in the German torque spec Gudentite. So that's what these are going to be. And once I get those in, I'll bring you back and show you kind of an update. And other than that, it's putting the side cover on, putting oil back in it, putting the gasket on. Oh, this little shift fork obviously, but that's kind of common sense, you know that has to go in. Yeah. Okay, there it is. It can be done. You don't have to split the tractor. The housing is back in the proper location. If I can get enough light in there to show you that. Just gotta get my bolts in now. It can be done. Okay, I'll be back when the bolts are in.